New York City influencers are not boring. You are boring. You chose to indulge in that content consistently and at a magnitude that is starting to bore you. My name is Tanika and welcome to today's video. My channel focuses on fashion, travel, and beauty and yapping. I almost forgot about the travel part. I was like, wait. I want to come and just talk about really quickly while I'm waiting on my lily lashes to dry. These lashes are, what lashes are these? These are the 34th Street lashes. And I do have somewhere to be, honey, as always. But of course, I was like, I'm not going to talk about this. I'm not going to talk about this. And now I'm like, actually, I'm just going to talk about it quickly. I always say quickly and notice it's like 20 minutes. But there was a young white girl that got online and said, you know, New York City influencers are boring.
They're boring as fuck, and they're all carbon copies of one another. They all wear the same exact fucking bracelet. They all have the same exact fucking handchain that someone else influenced them to get. Yeah. They all look like they shop.
And I will insert the clip or I will link below exactly what she said. But she concluded that New York City influencers were boring. Now, here's the thing. I'm about to be in white people's business because she's literally not talking to me. As a New York City influencer or content creator, whatever, I did not feel offended. I didn't think she was talking to me. I wasn't triggered because I live in New York City and I'm an influencer and she grouped me. No, of course not. I could care less. What she thinks. That was my first time seeing her. I don't really, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have any feels, but I knew it was going to be something because y'all get online and say this every 10 to 15 business days. And then you stir up this uproar and you have this critique as if people are going to do anything differently. You're not going to follow different people. You're not going to stop following the people that you are hate watching. Nothing. I will say this. She was really talking to, you can tell from the comments and talking about and who she follows, a very specific young, thin, white, rich content creator. And a lot of times they're rich because they come from upper middle class families. But a lot of times they're rich because because y'all made them rich. Not me, but y'all made them rich. You know, they're getting $100,000 brand deals every week because their videos are going viral because people are hate watching. Their content is aspirational to little girls in the middle of Wisconsin, in the middle of Michigan, who want to move to the big city and wake up, get their Amazon glass cup with their Amazon straw or their, like, you know, Stanley cup, and then, you know, put on their workout clothes and go work out and get matcha and do this and do that. Here's the thing. I see the same thing coming from the black girls in Atlanta. It's no shade. I see the same thing coming from the black girls in Atlanta. That's not a critique. That's just to say this is a recipe, especially for TikTok vlogs, that works. It's a recipe that works. People follow it. And you can insert any of those characteristics and swap out things. And there are people who meet that thing that do the same thing. So, for example, you can be young, thin, and white. You're going to wake up, make your bed, go get matcha, go work out, have your headphones on. You're going to show us your leggings. You're going to come back. You're going to get in the shower. We're going to show us your shower routine. You're going to, you know, it's the same thing. It's a similar critique that people were having of the black girl luxury content. It is. That's what people were saying. Now, people were saying like it's unrelatable and people are selling bags and that, you know, it was a little bit more robust than that because at the center of that was black women, and that's always going to cause a more robust, in-depth conversation. But you can swap out rather than being young and thin and white, you could be young and fat and white. Same kind of vlogs. You can be young and fat and black. and you're doing the same kind of vlogs. You could be young and thin and Asian. You're doing the same kind of vlogs. They're doing the same kind of vlogs. That's because it is rewarded. The system, the algorithm, the audience rewards it. That's what they consume. We consume that kind of content because it's comforting content. I don't have a critique of that content. There are people who create that kind of content. Mine happen to be black. It's no shade. There are some Asian and white ones. I'll throw in there that I actually happen to enjoy. I like it. I like to see the mundane. I like to see them make their bed. I don't go up for it. I'm not sharing it. I'm not like, oh my God, this is my holy grail. My favorite show is on. No, but I'll give them a view or two. I think there are times, especially when they're black girls, where that's all I want to see. I don't actually want to see you laying a wig or, I may not want to see that every single day. Now, there are times where they do matcha and Pilates and lay the wig. I want to see that. Sometimes they're yapping. I want to see that. I just want to see a variety of content. But we're not going to sit here and act like there are not characteristics specifically around being young and thin and white. And desirability politics that is promoting this type of content. They have the industry look that puts them at the hierarchy, and they're going to be promoted to the top of the hierarchy because of the audience. That's what the audience wants to see. That's what they want to see. And you're watching it, so therefore they're going to continue to make it. It is a money maker for them. It is one of the easiest kinds of content that they can plug into, especially for brand deals. And I don't have anything necessarily negative to say about them. Now, people who are saying, oh, they've had a bad experience, these people are mean, yada, yada, yada. I don't have an experience like that. So I can't agree or disagree. It's not for me to agree or disagree. Everybody has their own experience. But what I will say is this. New York City influencers are not boring. You are boring. You chose to indulge in that content consistently and at a magnitude that is starting to bore you. You sought that content out. You sought these creators out. They haven't changed their content. They've been very consistent. You are just bored. It is what it is. You are allowed to move on from people that you used to like and that you used to watch. And rather than saying that, people think it's acceptable to talk bad about content creators because they think that because they're in the public light, that they are just like, it's open season. And I think that is a little questionable in society. I don't know if I have the solution for that, but I don't think that's necessarily fair. I also think that the ownership can be on the consumer, the person that's consuming the content. Nobody is making you follow these girls. Nobody is telling you that this is the end all be all. Do I think that these people who are having this critique on white New York City influencers being boring, then going to follow black New York City influencers, whether they're born in New York City or not, honey, because the New York City natives have now entered the chat. I don't think that's the solution. Because then y'all are going to go over there and start saying things. Oh, they're a little too woke. Oh, they're a little too opinionated. Oh, they're a little too this or they're a little too that. And then you're going to get in the comments saying these things. And then you're going to mass unfollow. Or you're going to be a quiet supporter because you're going to feel like somebody forced you to support them. And all you really wanted to do was like upload a black square. You know what I'm saying? So no, I'm not saying that is the solution in any way, shape, or form. I think it was an opportunity for black content creators to reignite a conversation around diversity, to reignite a conversation around the meaning of boringness, for New York City natives to reignite a conversation around what makes someone a New Yorker. I think all those conversations, we should have seen those conversations coming, and we should have seen those conversations as valid critiques. It doesn't require all this. Nobody really cares at the end of the day. I think it's unfortunate that some of these young girls are getting dogpiled on, but it's to be expected. People have this critique every 10 to 15 business days. When there's a recession, people want to see, unfortunately, recession content. We're in a recession. People don't necessarily want to see hauls. People don't necessarily want to see you in your sprawling New York City penthouse. They thought it was cute at first when they had a job, when they were doing well, but people don't necessarily want to see that. And some of that is understandable. But like, people's interests change. It is what it is. I think for content creators, I think this is an opportunity to be adaptive. I think this is an opportunity to say, you know what? People are interested. And I think people have been saying for years, people are interested in different kinds of content. The algorithm starts to incentivize things that people do collectively. Now, here's the thing. When one person started doing their morning routine and it was their skincare and it was working out and doing this and doing that, it was interesting. When 100 people started doing it, it was uninteresting. When I was doing outfit of the days and I was holding up bottles of perfume and nobody was holding up bottles of perfume, people thought it was weird. And now everybody's doing it. It's like, nobody thinks it's interesting. Nobody thinks it's fun. Now the outfit of the days aren't that interesting, right? No matter what you're wearing. But I think there are ways to spice up the content. I think there are ways to grow. I think there are ways that we can incentivize the algorithm and the audience to care about different things. I just think there's a myriad of different experiences that can be had. And I think it's interesting enough to, for it to be worth it. I think there's so many people doing interesting content out there. We don't have to just settle for, this one thing. Now, I will say there's another content creator, I believe his name is Brandon, who's starting to have a conversation around content creators as a whole and the pay gap and incentivizing pay and all of these things around just like the creator pay gap, specifically amongst Black creators and white creators. I would even say it should be a conversation, but it's not sexy at all. And I don't think Black creators who are rallying for equal pay because they're so young, I don't think they even understand the pay gap between people who are 30 and under and people who are 30 and over. I think they don't even understand what's happening there, right? Like, brands, corporations are not incentivized to pay more because it's an oversaturation of the market. And maybe that's a conversation I'll have. Actually, I'm not going to have that conversation. I think it's difficult to have a conversation in public about a Black content creator saying, I was only paid $10,000 for this campaign and people are making $60,000 a year. $10,000 for them can be life-changing. People who have student loan debt that's $10,000 or less, they don't want to hear that you got a check for $10,000. Even if you say, and the white content creator got paid $25,000. I think there are people in our audience who do want to believe that it's merit-based. And it's like, your job is racist. Your job faces racial discrimination issues. Why don't you think ours does? Why don't you even think the merit, even the numbers, even the vanity metrics face this disparity? I mean, I think it's just an overall disparity. I appreciate more content creators talking about it from a financial perspective, from a following perspective, from a relatability perspective. There is a deep disparity across the board. And as more people enter the space, these conversations are going to become more robust. I welcome them, but I also see them as opportunities. I think there are opportunities to really help align our audience around some of these themes, around some of these ideas. I also think it's an opportunity for some of us to be more innovative in the way that we think about things. Like, yeah, being a Black face, but living in the same high-rise apartment, doing the same routine, sure. We're getting better with our cinematic experiences. I've seen a lot of young Black content creators getting so much better with their cinematic experience. It's being so interesting, the music, all these things. But I can see what some of the audience, I can see people saying they're bored of that. I'm not. I like it. I like to see it. But if you bored, go find something else to watch. You have agency and free will in this life. You do not have to spend your precious moments and time watching a content creator that you're just going to hate watch. That's really all I have to say about it. Love you so much. Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully my lashes are dry and not twisted and turned. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.